Okay, today I'm going to work on some finishing touches in the mustard seed cabin. Okay, if you had watched the video of the mustard seed cabin, which was the first structure added to the Happy Place Homestead, in there I mentioned that there were a lot of finishing touches that needed to be done to this cabin. Here we are in February, and my daughter has experienced cold drafts running through the unframed windows and doors for the last few months. And so today I want to work a little bit on that. Now, one thing that has kept me from doing that is actually the effort of going to the cabin and measuring the width and what kind of wood do I need, what size do I need, how much do I want to cut it, having to be in the garage cold, cutting the wood, all that kind of stuff has kind of delayed this whole project. But the other day I had a really cool idea. Inside the main house, we have an unfinished room here, and we are in the process, as of this week, to start to moving our kitchen from the second floor down to this unfinished room on the first floor. Now, in this room, we have 3 existing windows, and these windows, we're going to add 2 new windows to this whole room. And when I do that, I'm going to want to reframe all the windows to match. So I realized the other day, ooh, I can take the existing framing off these windows that we have here and use them in the framing of at least the door in the mustard seed cabin. So today I'm going to remove these frames from these windows and cut them to fit and nail them into the mustard seed cabin so that we can at least have one less drafty item there for my daughter. Okay, just like Chip on the Fixer Upper, I love demo day. But I actually have to be a little bit more careful in removing this trim from here. I want to keep it intact. So they're on there pretty good. There we go, got one off. And so the electrician actually had started this piece for me, so I just had to pull that one little off. I'm going to be a little bit more careful and yeah, a little bit more forceful in removing the rest of the trim off this window and the rest of the windows. Now, it's a very basic trim. You can see there's nothing really fancy about it, so it's just good for me. So I will just cut these off and probably angle them a little better so they'll fit, because I don't have a piece that's actually long enough in one piece to fit the entire door. But because I'm not really a perfectionist, and because I feel like this is just a cabin that I'm not looking to make perfect, I want it functional. And so it's okay to take these little pieces and piece them together and making the whole door. So here we go. I'm going to take off the rest of these pieces. One piece. All right, now I have 2 windows unframed. I'm going to start with that. First, I'm going to go measure the door and see if I need to actually undo the 3rd window as of yet. Okay? Okay, I've moved to the garage, and it's cold out here, even though it's probably above freezing, but it's chilly. So I had to put on my nice little hat, all you Doctor Who fans out there. Now, you guys out there who are actually really experienced in carpentry, who really know what you're doing, who have all the possible tools that you ever will need. First of all, I'm envious of you. And second of all, please don't judge me too harshly at my workbench. This is exciting for me. This is the first time in all the houses that we've owned that I actually have had a place to do any kind of work. We have a garage and I have a workbench. This workbench is beautiful, actually. I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces of the entire house, believe it or not. It's solid wood. It's so beautiful. In fact, I named it Gilbert because it reminded me of my dad. My dad passed away about 13 years ago, and I think if he were alive, he would love this bench. He would love this table that work could be done on. It just reminded me so much of him. It reminded me of sitting out in his workshop in Florida, watching him do his things, and I love it. But we haven't even lived here a full year. We have so many other problems with this property that cleaning the workbench has not been on my list of priorities. So I try to keep things organized so I know basically which pile things belong in. But it's a mess, I admit it. Hopefully this summer, amidst everything else that we're doing, I will get this organized and it will be beautiful. Something that you professional carpenters may be proud of, I hope. Okay? So, I've measured my door frame and it's 80 inches on both sides. I haven't measured the top yet because I will do that after I get the 2 side pieces measured. What I found out was that out of my 4 long pieces that I took off the window frame, they together, 2 of them together, total well over 80. They average about 90 inches together. So that means I have room to just chop off this part right here to flatten it out so I can get a better accurate measure. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's why I didn't bother taking out this little screw because I knew I was going to cut it out anyway. So my first goal is to cut the edges off of these things and then get an accurate measure and somehow cut them to piece together. All I have for tools here is my tiny little miter saw. I love that miter saw. It was an awesome present from my wonderful husband. I love it. I do dream of getting a much bigger one though. So we're going to start with this thing, and hopefully I can manage to get this done and it will fit the door. Safety first. I'm keeping my fingers away from the saw so that you guys don't have to panic, okay? My little blade got caught in the down position and I was careful not to reach in there and try to move the little pieces of wood. I let the saw stop and then I realized it was just that little pluggy thing that was keeping the blade from popping up like it should. I know, I'm not a dumb blonde here. I'm actually a pretty smart blonde. You know, on a note of safety, I want to say that I think moms should be the best carpenters, and the reason is because moms automatically have a boundary of this concept of safety. Safety first, safety first. Children choking, children falling in the pool, children getting hit by cars. Moms understand safety. We don't do things carelessly. So moms out there, don't be afraid. Use those power tools. You got this. You understand safety. You can do this, okay? Whatever one man can do, another can do, right? Okay, now that I have all 4 of these pieces cut flush, I'm going to measure them out so that they will equal 81 inches. And then I will do, after I get them measured to the right length, then I'll cut the 45-degree angle to fit the top molding on. And I think probably it's the proper way to do it is to cut another angle through the center in order, so like on the bottom of this one and then the top of that, so they fit flush together. They're not just butted up flat to flat. We'll see if I feel that ambitious, okay? Here we go. I'm gonna keep going now. Hey, okay, so I measured these 2 boards to be 80.5 inches, which is what the right side of the door is. And I almost went and cut the edge, the flat edge of the top piece, but I stopped myself. I thought, oh, you know, I should probably cut the diagonal part first because that might affect the total length in the end. Thank goodness I did, because when I cut the diagonal of this and then I remeasured, I realized I was actually about 2 inches too short. So it's a good thing that I cut this diagonal first and then cut the top edge off, so I won't have such a bad measurement there. I'm learning, see? Okay, I have all 4 pieces cut now to do 2 sides of the door. I'm going to grab my finishing nails and a hammer because I don't have a nailer yet, a power nailer. It's on my wish list. So I'm going to head over to the cabin and get these sides hung. Hopefully they work right, and then I'll do the cross part. Here I am inside the mustard seed cabin with my daughter's nice decorations. Decor, really. She has a fire going. It's nice and toasty warm. And there's the door that we're going to be framing today. Okay, I'm inside the mustard seed cabin and I'm about ready to start hanging my trim. I did fill in some of the gaps with the insulating door foam stuff, and I will just be using finishing nails and a hammer. So hopefully I've measured this right and this will go on smoothly, easily, and then my daughter can just prime and paint and have fun. Yay! Now I reused the same holes that I had taken the old nails out of. That way I wasn't going to worry about having the wood split on me by putting in new fresh holes. So that's kind of convenient. My finishing nails are much bigger than the nails that came out of the gun probably that originally installed that trim. So I'm going to keep going. I never said it was going to be perfect, and it won't be probably really pretty, but I know in the end that people who come in here, they're not going to notice the little bit of imperfections that are in this trim. When it's all painted, when it's all done, it's going to look good. Again, I'm not a perfectionist. Okay, I have the two sides done, and if you look closely, I'm not going to take the camera closer, you'll be able to see where I had some mess ups. Well, here is where I had to do the line anyway because the board wasn't long enough. But on this side, I miscounted. I measured wrong and ended up with too short of a piece for the top here. So I had to piece in a third piece on that side. Really, in the end, there's no mistake with this kind of framing that a little wood fill can't fix, right? Wood fill, I think, is my friend. So now I'm moving on to the top piece. I'm going to measure that, and I have a feeling that I don't have a piece long enough for that as well, so I'm going to have to make that into two pieces. But I've learned, see, I can be taught, I've learned that I'm going to do one piece first and then measure again to get the second piece. Okay? Okay, there you have it. I finished it. It's not perfect. There are some serious issues that wood fill will just have to fix for me. It's just getting painted anyway, right? And it's just a little cabin on the homestead. I'm happy with the work. This kind of work satisfies me. It makes me feel just, I don't know, it stretches my creative juices, I think. I'm not musical, I can't draw worth a darn, but I love working with my hands. I love thinking of something and how to put it together, kind of like a puzzle, and then doing it. I just love that. So I have so much to learn still, but I'm not waiting until I know it all to do anything. I'm just going to do it, and I'll learn on the way. I learned a few things in this project already. So there you have it. Happy Place Homestead. I'm Linda Paget, and this is one step further finished in the mustard seed cabin. Thanks for watching.